Hello, my name's Andrea Garcia, and my Newbery Award-winning author is Betsy Byars. Betsy was born on August 7, 1928 in Charlotte, North Carolina as Betsy Cromer. Betsy had one sister whom she enjoyed hanging out with. Growing up, Betsy loved reading but thought writing was super boring and had no plans becoming a writer. Instead, she had other plans in mind and wanted to work with wild animals. As she got older and made the transition to junior high and high school, she discovered real wild animals, which happened to be boys. From 1946 through 1948, she attended Furman University in Grenville, South Carolina, and majored in math. However, math didn't go too well for her. She ended up flunking out, and she made the switch to English. She ended up transferring to Queens College in Charlotte, where she received her bachelor's in English. Even after graduating, her interest in boys still continued. At the age of 20 years old, she married her husband, Ed Byars. Her husband, Ed, was an engineer professor and a pilot. Between 1951 and 1958, she and her husband welcomed their 4 children, 3 girls and 1 boy. Many of her inspirations for her stories came from her children, but as her children got older, they got tired of being in her stories. In 1956, she began writing for the Saturday Evening Post and other magazines. In 1959, she sent off her first story, Clementine, which is about a dragon made out of a sock and has an adventurous mind of his own. Clementine got rejected 11 times before finally getting published in 1962. After Clementine was published, Betsy was on a roll. She became very motivated and began writing many other stories. Little did she know that this would mark the beginning of her career as an author. After all the hard work, it finally paid off. Mrs. Byars was awarded the 1971 Newbery Medal for her book, The Summer of the Swans. The Summer of the Swans is about a 14-year-old girl named Sarah who is struggling with the transition into adulthood, all while caring for her mentally retarded younger brother, Charlie. To make matters worse, Charlie walks out of the house in the middle of the night and gets lost. Mrs. Byars actually got her inspiration for this book after tutoring a 3rd grade girl and a 1st grade boy in a school with learning problems. She says she would have never written this book if she never had the experience of knowing them. Other than the Newbery, Mrs. Byars also won the American Book Award in 1981 for The Night Swimmers. In 1992, she was also awarded the Edgar Award for Best Mystery in Young People for Wanted, Mud Blossom. She also won the Regina Medal by the Catholic Library Association, which recognizes a body of her work. Amongst those novels, Mrs. Byars wrote over 40 books, which range from fiction to nonfiction to one series edition, which she didn't ever think she would do because she never thought about writing sequels. Her stories are written in 3rd person, and her characters would come in 3s, usually 2 girls and 1 boy. Throughout the 70s and 80s, Betsy continued to write, but on April 1, 1983, she accomplished one of her biggest goals by receiving her private pilot's license. Now she was able to ride in a plane with her husband not only as a co-pilot, but now as a pilot. During the 80s, her grandchildren were born and she stopped writing as much as she used to. Although she still writes, her career became flowering. Today, Betsy Byars lives in a log cabin in South Carolina and still loves to fly. I hope you enjoyed my show on Betsy Byars, and I appreciate you all for watching. Thank you.